Hello, welcome to Astronautics for Exploit. This is Dr. Anyashola Ogundele. Multi-orbit satellite constellations major players, proponents and financiers of hybrid satellite network of space architecture. The 21st century ushered in the new space era, characterized by an explosion of commercial activity and the development of large proliferated constellations, which were made possible because of reduced launch costs, miniaturization, and improvement in on-orbit technology. The development of reusable rocket technology, such as SpaceX Falcon 9, drastically lowered the cost of deploying large numbers of satellites. This made mega-constellations economically viable and accelerated their deployment. Advancements in manufacturing have enabled the development of smaller, more cost-effective satellites, such as CubeSats and nanosatellites. This allows for larger networks to be deployed more frequently and affordably. Major players in multi-orbit satellite constellations include SAS, Ultesat, Viasat, Intelsat, Ujis Network Systems, Telesat, Avantic Communications, SpaceX, Amazon, and a host of others. SES is a significant player which operates a global network combining the established medium Earth Orbit, O3b and O3b mPOWER constellations with Geostationary Earth Orbit satellites and is partnering with LEO providers such as Lynk Global. The focus points are as follows: satellite constellation innovative approaches and major players of multi-orbit satellite constellation. Satellite constellation innovative approaches. Presently, various companies are utilizing a network of observers in different orbits, such as LEO, MEO, and GEO, in order to better track and monitor space debris and other satellites. This helps to improve collision avoidance, manage growing traffic in orbit, and enhance overall space safety. Satellite constellation approaches. Innovative approaches in satellite constellations are transforming global connectivity and Earth observation through miniaturization, virtual intelligence, and autonomy. Satellite low Earth orbit constellation is shown in this picture. Miniaturization and mass production. The shift from large custom-built satellites to cost-effective mass-produced small satellites, CubeSats and nanosats, has made deploying large-scale constellations economically viable, and this allows for dense networks that enhance coverage and connectivity. Artificial intelligence is integrated both on satellites and in ground systems for autonomous operations. Illustration of proliferated constellation is shown in this picture. Advanced propulsion system. The use of highly efficient electric and ion propulsion for orbit maintenance and maneuvering extend the lifespan and operational effectiveness of satellites. Advanced sensors and payloads. Constellations are employing specialized sensors such as hyperspectra, synthetic aperture radar, and integrated optical cameras with automatic identification system. SS-Swarm constellation is shown in this picture. Major players of multi-orbit satellite constellation are Intelsat, Ultesat, Telesat, Viasat, SpaceX, Manhattan Networks, SAS, and Iris. Intelsat. Intelsat's multi-orbit satellite constellations combine geostationary orbit and low Earth orbit networks to create a more resilient and flexible satellite communication solution. It has installed multi-orbit systems on aircraft, combining its geofleet with LEO network technology from Eutelsat OneWeb. Illustration of satellite mega-constellation is shown in this picture. Intelsat multi-orbit constellation approach leverages high throughput and broad coverage of geosatellites with low latency and pole-to-pole connectivity of LEO constellation. By integrating different orbital networks, Intelsat provides a blended system which can switch between best available orbit for optimal performance. SS-Swarm constellation is shown in this picture. Eutelsat operates a multi-orbit satellite network by combining its existing geostationary satellite with the low Earth orbit OneWeb constellation. LEO and GEO. The integrated system allows Eutelsat to offer both high-bandwidth GEO services and low-latency LEO services, creating a single operator with satellites in multiple orbits to provide diverse and resilient connectivity. Illustration of a Eutelsat OneWeb LEO satellite is shown in this picture. Eutelsat is the first global satellite operator to be fully integrated with its own satellites in both geostationary orbit and low Earth orbit. It maintains a large fleet of 34 geostationary satellites which provide high capacity and stability. Eutelsat multi-orbit GEO-LEO satellite network is shown in this picture. Viasat is developing a multi-orbit satellite constellation strategy by combining its own Viasat 3 geostationary satellites with other constellations in low Earth orbit, such as Telesat Lightspeed, to offer customers greater flexibility, capacity, and resilience. The constellation aims to have 3 ultra-high capacity satellites, each capable of 1 terabit per second. Viasat's current and future satellite feeds are shown in this picture. Telesat is developing a multi-orbit constellation named Lightspeed, which is primarily a large low Earth orbit network, and it is designed to complement its existing geostationary satellite for combined multi-orbit offerings. The LEO constellation will consist of about 188 satellites in different orbits in order to provide global, low-latency, broadband connectivity. Lightspeed will be a key component of Telesat multi-orbit strategy. Telesat Lightspeed constellation is illustrated in this picture. Mangetter Network is another major player of multi-orbit satellite constellation. It's a company that plans to provide satellite-enabled Internet and edge computing services using a multi-orbit constellation of satellites in highly elliptical orbit and medium Earth orbit. This hybrid approach is intended to deliver high-speed, low-latency connectivity and supports edge computing. Illustration of satellite coverage for telecommunication services is shown in this picture. The Mangetter Network plans to launch 8 highly elliptical orbit satellites to begin passive services in the Northern Hemisphere. It plans to deploy up to 791 satellites in total, with additional satellites in both highly elliptical orbit and medium Earth orbits. A strategic partnership to develop AI-enabled edge cloud connectivity services will integrate with Azure and a partnership to co-develop artificial intelligence-enabled edge to cloud. Mangetter, which raises hybrid satellite network with connection, shows its hybrid concept of multi-satellite. SES multi-orbit constellation combines its geostationary medium Earth orbit and, through partnership, low Earth orbit satellite network. Its multi-orbit strategy is managed by an AI-driven SD-WAN solution, which dynamically routes traffic to the optimal orbit for different applications. SES multi-orbit strategy is illustrated in this picture. SpaceX is another major player of multi-orbit satellite constellation. SpaceX Starlink constellation is a massive network of thousands of small, mass-produced satellites in LEO designed to provide high-speed, low-latency broadband Internet service globally. Although Starlink operates exclusively in LEO with thousands of satellites, it's a dominant force that is driving the entire industry towards multi-orbit solutions by stimulating demand for new multi-orbit capable antennas and terminals. 60 Starlink satellites tagged together before deployment on May 24, 2019 is illustrated in this picture. HIRIS is the European Union multi-orbit satellite constellation project, combining low Earth orbit and medium Earth orbit satellites in order to provide secure and resilient connectivity. The constellation, which is scheduled for service in 2030, will offer secure government communications, broadband for businesses and citizens, and help eliminate connectivity. A rendering of Europe's proposed multi-orbit broadband constellation is shown in this picture. For more information, contact Astronautics for Exploit. You've been listening to Multi-Orbit Satellite Constellations Major Players, Proponents, and Financiers of Hybrid Satellite Networks of Space Architecture by Dr. Ayeshola Ogundele, with the focus point, satellite constellation innovative approaches, and major players of multi-orbit satellite constellation. Thank you.